the Tennessee, the Tennessee, what state is that? Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, they redistrict the. Oh, let me actually record this. They redistrict the black district of Tennessee. Right here. Yeah, they redistrict the. They propose a new map, so Republicans get more seats. Yeah, they rejoined the district, so David Kostoff and John Rose. Yeah, so they're changing the redistricting. Yeah, Tennessee. Yeah, and then in Virginia, I was gonna talk about the Virginia thing was blocked by the Virginia state their Supreme Court in Virginia. Yeah, was blocked. Yeah. Yeah, because we're gonna get more seats. Yeah, that's the whole thing I was gonna talk about. Like, yeah, yeah, that's one of the few things I'm gonna talk about. It's just the redistricting. That boy. Let me do MS now.
Hey friends, I did a lot of segments this week, so if you missed any of them, I compiled them all in So if you missed any, I compiled them all in one place, right here. Enjoy.
Screen.
Tuesday,
yeah,
especially in Indiana, showed that the president still has juice, still has a lot of influence,
yeah, I do,
at least in Indiana.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know
as Indiana goes, so goes the nation when it comes to Republican voters and Donald John Trump. He absolutely still has the juice. And when you're a Republican and you go against Trump, you get voted off the island. I always love Survivor. And in this particular case, what we saw in Indiana was you go, adios, amigos, goodbye, see you later. And to me, that is emblematic of what we see nationwide with Republicans. I think there's this myth that's going on right now that, oh, Trump is really losing support among Republicans. But compared to other midterm cycles, he's just as popular with Republicans as he has ever been at this point in midterm cycles. Right now, nationally, we're talking about an approval rating on average of 84%. In 2022, his popularity rating was 76%, actually lower, right, when he wasn't in the presidency. In 2018, the last time he was president, 85%. That 85 looks a whole heck of a lot like this 84% right here. The bottom line is this: Donald Trump still absolutely has juice with Republican voters. You saw it in Indiana, and I think that you'll see it down the line as well if any Republicans try and go against the President of the United States, who is still very much beloved by Republican voters nationwide.
Harry, you were also looking at turnout. What are you seeing in turnout? Why is this significant to this conversation?
Okay, why is it significant? Because we know that within the Republican Party, Trump has that extra strong core, that MAGA base, right? We're talking about approval ratings, depending on which poll you look at, 95, 97, 100% with MAGA Republicans. And here's the thing. They are incredibly juiced up compared to other Republicans. Because let's take a look here. Republicans who say it's more important to vote in 2026 than the usual midterm election. Look at this. 60% of MAGA identifying Republicans say that, compared to just 36% of non-MAGA. So what's going on in these primaries, right? It's not just that you have this core Republican base that really loves Donald Trump. The people who really love him, they're the ones who are absolutely juiced up to go out and vote. They would go over hot coals to vote in those primaries. And you saw that in Indiana.
Oh, but my YouTube thing is not connected. What's my YouTube thing? My channels connected. Okay, I put my chat on the screen, so it should be coming up now if anybody ever chats. Let me see if it works. Let me text in my. I don't see it. Why isn't it popping up on screen? Was this the right thing? It's my chat connected, but is it? I don't see it on my screen. Why didn't I see the thing pop up? It should be popping up. What YouTube is connected? Sorry about that. I'm just trying to figure out where my YouTube is connected. I don't see it on screen. It shouldn't have popped up. Yeah, but what's my YouTube? Give me a second. I have to do something. I don't know why this thing doesn't. Oh, it works right there. Why does it look so tiny? I don't know why it looks so tiny. So that's my YouTube chat. Where to even see it? I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I might just delete that. I'm not gonna. Sorry, I don't know how to put YouTube
With
chat
a
on the
clear
screen.
majority of those representatives who went against
I
Trump
have
on
to use a third
redistricting,
party,
well, they're
but
no
I'll
longer
do
going
in
to
the
have a job
future.
come the next session of that state
So
legislature.
then the question is, do Republicans think that party leaders should be following Trump, or other Republicans should be following Trump?
Yeah, okay, so you see this juiced up MAGA, right? You see right here that his support among Republicans is just as strong as it was going into the 2018 midterm cycle, right? But it's more than that. Republican voters want their party leaders to follow the president of the United States because party leaders should follow the president's lead. You know, for Joe Biden at the same point in his first term, just 57% of Democrats said that party leaders should follow his lead. Look at this number for Donald Trump. It's 75%, significantly higher than it was for Joe Biden. So it's not just that Republicans really like Donald Trump, it's they want their leaders to follow Donald Trump, and when they don't, as I said at the beginning, you get voted off the island.
We're not talking about Democrats
No.
here. Who are the people dragging down the president's approval ratings?
Who are the people who are dragging down President Trump's approval rating? We are talking about a very important block for the President of the United States. That is Republican-leaning independents. That is what's going on. Take a look here. This is the difference. Trump's approval rating at this point in terms. Independents who lean Republican versus those who are just Republicans only. Look at this among independents who lean Republican. Back in term number one, he was at 73% at this point in term. Down he goes, an absolute collapse now, just 53% of independents who lean Republican now approve of the President of the United States. That's very different from Republicans only. It was 83 at this point in term number one. It's 83% now, but that's a 20-point decline in his approval rating, nearly at the 50% mark, with a group that traditionally has very much been in the president's camp.
This isn't just indies. This is independents who lean Republican, people who in theory should be predisposed to like the president there. Talk more about the shift we've seen actually now this time from just a couple years ago.
Just a couple years ago. Take a look at this shift. Oh my, GOP leaning independents on Trump. In the 2024 election versus Kamala Harris, he got 91% of that vote, nearly 100, near uniformity on that one. But down he goes, down into the deep blue sea, now at 53% on the job approval rating. John, I'm not that good at math, but I believe that is a 38-point drop. A 38-point drop from where he was in the 2024 election. As I said, this is a core group for Donald Trump, and they are waving, adios amigos, goodbye. We no longer support you, President of the United States. We are going in the other direction. We're deciding to disapprove, then approve. He's just above 50% in a group that overwhelmingly supported him back in the 2024 election.
That's 18 months ago. I mean, this is a very brief period to drop that much among a group that is part of, frankly, your essential coalition there. So what does this tell us? What does this group think of maybe the congressional elections coming up in 6 months?
Yeah, okay, so you see this 38-point drop here, and you're a Republican member of Congress, say, oh my God, I hope this doesn't affect me, because if it does, a lot of those swing district congressional members right on the Republican side will be waving adios amigos goodbye. But you know what's going on here? What's going on here, by the way, this is a 6 and an 8. What we're seeing here, choice for Congress, Republican-leaning independents in the 2024 election. Look at this. They supported Republican candidates by 83 points, but now it's 68 points. That's a 15-point drop again in only 18 months' time. These are not numbers that Republicans win with. These are numbers Republicans lose with. And so what we're seeing right now is that collapsing support for President Trump among Republican-leaning independents absolutely finding its way down ballot, making its way down ballot. And if these numbers hold for the 2026 election, which is occurring in only a little bit about 6 months' time, depending on how you exactly count 6 months, that would be absolutely devastating for Republicans.
We've talked about African American voters. We've talked about white men. What about Asian American voters?
You know, the Asian American bloc is such an interesting one because Donald Trump put in a historically strong performance with them back in 2024. He got 40% of the Asian vote. That was the best GOP showing in 20 years among that bloc. But look at what's happened now. Down he goes into the deep blue sea. His job approval rating, get this, is averaging just 25%. That is nearly a drop in half in the support that Donald Trump is getting from this key growing part of the electorate. This is part of a larger trend that we've seen for Donald Trump with non-white voters. We've seen it with Hispanics. It is holding true with Asian voters as well. And we have seen it in a number of special elections as well, where we've seen that Asian communities have generally shifted away from the Republican Party into the Democratic camp. We saw in the Virginia gubernatorial election, and we see it right here as well, where Donald Trump's support is absolutely plummeting in the Asian American community.
Okay, you're seeing it in Trump job approval. You said you've seen it in some of the special elections. What are we seeing it in the polling about the upcoming midterms?
Yeah, okay, so you see this right here with Donald Trump. You go, okay, does this actually carry over?
Yeah, but his job approval, yeah, it's 25. Yeah, it's bad. Supposedly we're gaining jobs, so I don't know. And Trump's decrease in popularity, he's actually, I was seeing something that we're slowly getting jobs back
in the race for Congress.
I
I would
know,
say,
but
yes,
still not
it
good.
does, because just take a look here. The margin for the U.S. House Asian voters. In the 2024 election, Democrats won that vote. They won it by 22 points. That lead is up like a rocket. You could see it right here. Look at that, expanding by 14 points. This is a huge shift with a growing part of the electorate. So what's happening with Donald Trump at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is absolutely finding its way down ballot, at least when Asian American voters are saying who they're going to vote for Congress.
You're saying a growing part of the population. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do I mean? I mean, just take a look here. The share that
I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be back. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to use the restroom.
the Asian share of the U.S.
his
population
number
in 1990. So, what do we see? The United
How popular is
This paid new White House ballroom. Look at this in October. Popular support. Telepathy that comes in at 29%. More term ballroom, man. My goodness gracious, we're talking about almost more. So going March 1, it was 80% popular.
for the ballroom at 28%? Actions the bill.
Right now, there really isn't a lane. February 1, folks, it's a nominee across chance. Now it's that same 6%. Fourth place, running behind J.D. Vance, running behind Marco Rubio, running behind. I haven't exactly gotten along over the years.
I mean, that's so interesting, right?
Zone out, look at the generic ballot. Who are you going to vote for come November? If you look at Democrats versus Republicans on the generic ballot,
Yeah, the Democrats are gonna definitely win the midterms. I think I'm gonna get off. I'll see you guys. Not too much news today. Just the Tennessee thing, the redistricting. Iran, same situation. Strait of Hormuz closed. Nothing really. I'm just gonna end the stream. Cheers, everyone. Quick little 20-minute stream. If anybody wants to chat, you can actually. I put the chat on the live stream now. So I'm gonna end the video.